Oh my goodness, let's get started because this is going to be a long one. Nomad Cosmetics just came out with their new cruise collection. This collection includes 2 palettes and 2 little highlighter compacts. So there's quite a bit to go through. This is the first palette. It is called Aurora Cruise. And as you can see, it is an entirely shimmer palette. Also to note, Nomad Cosmetics has switched to a format where they have these little openings that make it easier to get a magnetic tool in there. I'm not gonna lie, I don't particularly care for rearranging my palettes just because I like to see them as they were designed. That's just sort of how I like to do it. So I don't know if their previous palettes were magnetic or not. I always was under the impression that they were, but I've never tried to take them apart, so I don't know. But now I can tell you this one for sure is magnetic, with these little gaps in here, and I can see the magnet backing underneath. So if you're the kind of person who likes that, then you might appreciate this collection, especially because along with this, let's see, 15 pan shimmer palette, Nomad Cosmetics also released a 15 pan matte palette. So as you can see, there's a lot of mixing and matching that would be really possible if you had both of these palettes together. Now, I'm going to get up on my soapbox a little bit and say, while I see what they were trying to do with this, the matte palette is called Coastal Cruise. And it has like all these nice little coastal shades. They're all kind of muted and a little, I don't want to use the word drab because that has such negative connotations, but they are like muted, deeper kind of colors. And I love this. I love this as a palette. I just question how well it goes with the super bright colors of the shimmer palette. I've been trying to use them together to create some looks, and honestly, I just don't. For the first look that I did, I wanted to do some color from here, so I'll just go ahead and tell you about it. Now, for the colors, I used this brighter blue up here, as well as this brighter green to kind of make like a wingy thing, but gigantic, going up from my eye corner and out. And then on the outer bit of the wing, I used these darker colors, driftwood and open water, to kind of fill in there. And that was a pretty cool look, and I liked that actually. But then when I went in and added the shimmers, let's see, I used this kind of bright green sea glass, and I used this one down here, Emerald Jewel. Sea glass was on like the first half, and Emerald Jewel is on like the second half of the lid. I felt like using those really bright shimmers up against those more muted mattes just kind of made the mattes seem really drab, which is why I have this drab word in my head and I can't get past it, is because using them together, that's really kind of how it made the mattes look. Which I think it kind of does a disservice to these colors. Like, these are nice colors, and I think they could look really nice with the right kind of shimmers, like maybe some more neutral-ish, like more muted color shimmers, which can be really pretty sometimes, and I think would probably work better with the color story of this palette. And for the first look, I did use this Sunset Cruise highlighter palette. And I used this shade farthest to the left because this is the lightest. It's like a light sort of golden duochrome shade. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch all these, but not necessarily on camera because we already have so much to get through in terms of swatches, but I will show them to you as part of the video. So the second look that I did, I thought about it a little more and I decided to go more neutral with these colors and then add some shimmer on top. So what I chose to do is towards the first like half of my eye, I used this kind of rosy shade, First Light. And I thought that turned out really pretty. And then I used the shade Cruise Deck and that was on like the second half of my eye over here on the outside, and I just kind of blended that around and even a little bit into the crease just to give my eyes a little bit of dimension. And then what I did is I went in with the shimmer palette. And even then I wanted to use like one kind of bright color and one kind of more subdued color just to make it work better with those mattes. So I used Sparkling Sunset on the outer half of my eye, which is like super bright and pretty orange. I love this. And then I used Dancing Sunlight in the first like half of my eye. And I feel like they make a nice transition together. They're really pretty. And then on the underside, because I wanted to have more color, I always want more color, I used this shade Prism Tide. And that blended in really well with this eyeliner that I have from NYX. So I went ahead and did like a little wing with it, which I thought was pretty fun. So before we get into the shimmers, I'm going to real quick talk about these mattes with you. I'm just not as much of a matte person as I am a shimmer person. So I'll tell you my opinions, but we're really going to spend the bulk of this video focusing on the shimmer palette. And for that second look, I used the other highlighter palette. This one is called the Sunrise Cruise. And I used this kind of third shade here, which is a little bit rose goldy. And it actually worked really well with the very pink blush that I chose. So I thought it was cute. So let's real quick go over, this is a 15 pan palette as well, and it is arranged in these nice little gradients. We've got kind of a nice rosy color, then a warm brown, green, blue, and some kind of cooler neutral shades, which I really like. We got warm tones, we got cool tones. So if you're trying to do a neutral look, you can really make a lot of use out of this palette. And even if you're trying to do a neutral look that has like some little bits of color, but not like bold, bright, shocking color, I think this is a great palette for that, because this green and this blue, these are really nice when they're not right up against those bright shimmers. They're really nice. As per usual, Nomad Cosmetics does really well with their mattes. They're super colorful, they go down well, they blend well. I have nothing bad to say about any of the mattes in this palette. I thought they worked great. They are great. Okay, so we're going to say goodbye to this one, the Coastal Cruise, and we are going to move on to the shimmer palette. So here we go, 15 shades of just like crazy bright shimmers. Since there are so many shimmers in this palette, I'm not going to go through and do all of the swatches one at a time like I usually do. I'll probably do them like 3 at a time, go ahead and put them on my wrist and then talk you through what I'm thinking. So we're going to start first with this first little column here with Shimmering Pearl, Mermaid's Tail, and Summer Spritz. And these are such pretty pinks. This first one, Shimmering Pearl, is kind of more rosy than it is like bright pink. This Mermaid's Tail has like a nice blue to pink duochrome going on. And this one I think is my particular favorite. It's Summer Spritz, and it has like a little bit of a coral duochrome going on as well as a bold pink. So it looks really cool. Okay, so we're going to move on to this next row, which is Dancing Sunlight, Golden Hour, and Sparkling Sunset. Again, both of those I used in the look that I did today, so they turned out really cool. Okay, so here we are. This first one, Dancing Sunset, is like a champagne colored shimmer. It's so pretty, like that halfway between gold and silver color. This next one is really orange. It has almost like an orange base and an orange shimmer to it. And this one is almost like the same color of shimmer. It's got that nice orange, but it's a very pink base. Like you can see towards the end here where the shimmer is kind of wearing out and it's more of the pink base. It's super pink. And the orange shimmer on top of it is what's giving it like that really bold orange look. Okay, we'll do 3 more on this side. Let's do Morning Mist, Sea Glass, and Tidal Reflections. So here's Morning Mist. I really like this one. It's like a nice teal, but it has maybe like a golden sort of sheen to it. It's really pretty. This is the one that I used in my first look. This one is called Sea Glass. I like this one. And in the swatch, it's looking like a nice bright green. But when I had it on my eye for that look, it sort of was like a more gold green, which wasn't really what I was going for. So I was a little bit disappointed at the time. But it might really depend what kind of color you're putting it over, because it's looking pretty green right here in this swatch. This one, Tidal Reflections, I picked up a lot of pigment because it feels really dry. It has like a different feel to it than the other shimmers I've been swatching, which are more like large particle, really reflective kind of feeling. So I picked up a lot, and it turned out to make excellent color, even though it really felt like I wasn't picking up much. It's very olive green. So looking at it next to that really spring green, it looks so gorgeous. I want to do a look now with these two together because I think it'd be really pretty. Okay, we're going to move on to the other side where we're going to do Prism Tide, Ocean's Crown, and Emerald Jewel. Okay, here's Prism Tide, and this one is pretty. This is like a super like foily, just sky blue. I love this color. I feel like there's a lot you could do with this in a look. This next one, Ocean's Crown, is so interesting. It looks really purple in the pan, and I suppose that's kind of a mixture of the two colors it is, because it's almost like a purpley, pinky duochrome over like this really gorgeous sky blue pigment that's really similar to this one, but that purple pinky shininess is really strong. This one down here, Emerald Jewel, is kind of going purple to green. I think depending on what you have it next to, certain colors will be stronger. The look that I did it in, it looked pretty much totally green. But you can see in the swatch the kind of purple green shift that it has. Okay, let's swatch the final 3. We've got Harbor Lights, Aurora Gleam, and Celestial Glint. I'm interested to see how this one is going to be different from Emerald Jewel, because this also looks like a purple green. So let's see. Okay, these are interesting colors. This one is a purple green. It's just sort of opposite of Emerald Jewel. This one really screams green to me, but it has a little bit of purple. This one is mostly purple, and then it's got that little bit of a green shimmer to it. Let me just smooth that out a little bit. Yeah, you can see it definitely has that green flash, but the purple is the predominant color there. This one looks really similar to, I think this was Mermaid Tail. Yeah. Yeah, those are really similar. This one is bolder though. This one is definitely a bolder pink. It still has a shift to like a purple. This one is less bold, and I guess shifts to more of a bluish purple, but they're still pretty similar shades. And this one, Celestial Glint, I love this one. I'm gonna have to use this for something, because this is like, the underneath color is sort of black, but sort of green. It's just interesting how those two colors are sort of intersecting. And then you've got like the really bright pink flash on top of that. This is a fun color. All in all, I am really impressed by the shimmers in this palette. Only a couple of them had that sort of dry feeling to them, mostly Celestial Glint and Tidal Reflections. But even though they had that dry feeling, they still spread really well and had really good coverage. So I mean, my only complaint is that they just felt a little off, but they were still really easy to use. So I don't know that that's necessarily a complaint that's going to impact anything. I did think it was pretty impressive that in this whole palette of 15 shimmers, like a whole rainbow shimmer palette, we only got two that were a little iffy in their similarity to each other: Mermaid's Tail and Aurora Gleam. And I could see why both were included, because one is a little more kind of like a topper. You could use it as such. And the other one was a little bit bolder, a little bit more opaque. So it makes sense to have both of them, especially in like a bigger 15 pan palette that's all shimmers. All in all, I have to say I like the concept of this collection. I think sister palettes is a fun thing to do. And I think that an all shimmer palette and an all matte palette is also pretty fun. I just didn't love that the mattes and the shimmers were not very cohesive with each other. I feel like if we had had a little bit more neutral shades in the shimmers as well as the bright colors, or if we had a little bit more bright shades in the matte palette in addition to the more muted colors, they could have worked better together. So all in all, it's not the most cohesive collection that Nomad Cosmetics has ever put out, but individually all the pieces are really useful and have neat concepts behind them. So I'm going to call the collection a hit, even though it was not the most cohesive collection that ever existed. Thank you all so much for watching through what I am sure turned out to be one of the longest videos that I have ever ended up doing. If you have any thoughts about this collection or about Nomad Cosmetics, please do place them down in the comments below because I would love to talk to you about it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.